Welcome back. So social media connects us, entertains us, and of course keeps us informed. But at what point does scrolling turn into an addiction? We're joined once again by Laverne Turner-Manuel to unpack the science of social media addiction and how to set healthy boundaries, as well as why it's never too late to reset your digital habits for 2025. Laverne, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
So let's continue this conversation, right? We all use social media, we all engaged in social media, but when does social media turn from being a wonderful social habit and platform to something that's being a bit more addictive and almost controls your life?
Well, I think if it starts impacting your day-to-day, your job, where you can't really be focused at work because your phone's on your desk all the time and you're scrolling, I think that's a sign. I also think if it impacts your family life or your personal life, you know, where you've got the kids needing you and you are somehow consumed in some sort of social media drama, then I think that could also be a sign.
Here's the thing for me as well. I want to know, because so many of us are actually on social media and these platforms are designed to hook you. How do we break that cycle? How do we begin to recognize I've got a problem, but I need to now reset and break the cycle of addiction?
When it starts impacting your day-to-day, for sure. But I think it is up to us to try and set a boundary for that, because social media, especially today, can become extremely unhealthy. And I do think it borders toxicity a lot of the time as well. So it's about having the discipline enough to be able to say, you know what, I'll scroll for an hour or two and then I need to get back to real life. So it is a personal thing for sure that you need to, you know, set some time aside and put your phone down.
Listen, I think it's easier said than done, because I've tried. So I know a lot of us will go to sleep and you'll say, as a healthy habit, please may I not pick up my phone the first thing in the morning when my eyes pop open.
Yeah.
But guaranteed 5 out of 7 days, the minute my eyes open at 6, the first thing I do, I'm reaching for the phone. It's almost like a compulsive thing, like we have no control over it at this point.
It really has become that, you know. I think that we've lost sight of so many other things we could be doing and enjoying, as opposed to just sitting and mindlessly scrolling, because it is mindless being on social media. So it's about finding something you enjoy, you know, and focusing on that. So, for example, if you are someone that's into painting, allow yourself to actually get back into that, you know, find something that zones you out, but something that you enjoy. And by default, you won't be on your phone during that time.
I think what you're also talking about here, if I'm hearing you correct, is boundaries are very important. Social media engagement boundaries. Are we thinking enough about that and what those look like and the challenges in putting those engagement boundaries in place?
Absolutely. I don't think that we think about it enough. And social media, as you said, has become so all-consuming that you don't even realize that you have a problem. And I'm sure if I should say this to anybody I know, including myself, you do have a problem. You're in denial a lot of the time because you don't think it's just something you do. It is about just stepping back and saying, wait, hang on a minute, you know, how long have I been on my phone? Luckily, a lot of phones actually give you that that data, where you can actually see how long you've been on the phone throughout the day. I definitely know that I have a problem, but when I say a problem, it means it would probably apply to everybody out there, because without being cognitive of the fact we are on our phones, it's a global thing, it's not a personal thing, you know. So it's just about finding something you enjoy and then trying to make more time doing that. And by default, you would be on your phone less, you know, engage with your family more. Things that were important back then are still important today. We just tend to drift away from it because of this device in our hands.
Absolutely. So if we can't put the boundaries for ourselves, or at least if we can't stick to them for ourselves as adults, how do we then expect our kids to? You know, there's a lot of mom and dads raising families out there, and they want to put those parameters and boundaries around social media use. But if you can't set the example, how do you set it for children?
Yeah, that's really difficult. I think that's when you also need to reach out for support and say, from people that have either been in that situation before, maybe someone at school, somebody in a leadership role,
Yeah.
ask them for tools on how they are able to do that. But a lot of the time, I do think that we are aware of things that we can do, small little changes. It only starts with a small change. It's literally saying, you know what, for an hour, I won't be on my phone.
Yes.
And you can then obviously increase it as need be, but it's taking the baby step, an initiative,
I think it's so important that, from this conversation, we've walked away with a consciousness around mindless scrolling, which a lot of us do. And I think what I also heard you speak on is just, some really good tips, replacing bad habits with good habits. Be conscious of what you're doing, for how long you're on your phone and what you're consuming, and maybe find alternative ways and other things to engage yourself, other things that take your mind off the pressures of the day, where you find joy and peace in, but that don't involve your phone.
Yeah. Anything, even something, that nourishes you, whether it's self-care, whether it's reading a book, whether it's taking a walk or going for a run. There are so many amazing things that could fill the time where you're sitting and in essence, wasting time by just scrolling on your phone.
Yeah.
So I do think that it's us being real with ourselves. You need to be real when you realize, you know what, I've actually just lost an hour and all I've done was just scroll on my phone, doing absolutely nothing. I think it's in that moment that you actually you realize that I can do something better with my time, so.
Absolutely. So no more cat videos for us. Laverne,
no more cat videos.
Laverne, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
So breaking free from scrolling doesn't mean cutting off completely. It's about balance, boundaries, and being intentional with our time. Remember that it's never too late to make a change, and it's your screen time by your rules.